Hello and welcome to this special episode of the SecurityDNA podcast. Join Security Business Editor-in-Chief Paul Rothman and Actuate CEO Ken Francis for a brief but insightful discussion about the future of the Video Monitoring Center amidst rapid AI innovation and where Actuate fits in.
Really wanted to know about Actuate. Don't know much about Actuate.
So Actuate was founded 7 years ago by Sonny Tai and a partner. In the very early days, first couple of years, it was really focused on gun detection. About 5 years ago, it pivoted a bit into false positive reduction to really help monitoring centers get rid of false alarms and reduce the cost on their operators.
This really dovetails well with something I'm researching for a topic that I'm working on. Two things actually that I'm researching. First thing I'm researching is how AI is going to revolutionize the monitoring center, right?
Absolutely.
So I went. There's an open source conversational AI right now that when you talk to it, it's like just having a chat, me and you, right? And they even put in the uhs and it's creepy enough to where you're like, oh, this is a real person I'm talking to, And I really feel like that AI is going to get to the point where we can eliminate 75% of monitoring center operators. Do you think that's the goal? First of all, do we want to eliminate people from the monitoring center process?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No, you've got to have human beings, I believe. But you only want them to have to see the limited number of things that are real.
Right.
We've got to eliminate the number of things that are distracting the people in the monitoring centers.
Okay. So like TMA has level 0, level 1, level 2, that sort of stuff. So I was thinking the AI could take care of all the zeros, the ones, the twos, and then the 3s and 4s, they go to a real person kind of deal. Or it's triaged some way.
Well, even the 3s and 4s and 5s, AI can tell you whether or not it really is what you think it is. Or the AI can turn it into a 4 when it was looked at as a 2.
Okay. So is that the solve for the false alarm problem, do you think? Because there's other ways to solve. I think there's, if you look at, I'm doing the speech here, but it's all good, dude. Like, if you look at it like there's a waterway, and you have two bridges. The first bridge is AI, right? The second bridge, and this is something else I'm writing about, is response. Okay, actual response.
Yes.
If we can eliminate law enforcement from 80% of response because they're not needed for 80% of response, probably 90%, right? So if you partner with a private security force, and so AI triages the alarm, we decide, okay, this is an unverified alarm, we don't know what's happening. So now we're setting a guard out to assess the situation, and if it looks like, hey, there's a broken window right there, or the door's half open, or some guy's crowbarring it open, well then we're going to call the police, and it's a verified alarm. And that way, police aren't the ones who have to do that, the triage aspect. There are companies that do that now, but so how does that fit into to your scheme on the monitoring center? On the response end?
I don't know the answer to that. To be honest, I don't. Obviously, there are tens of thousands of monitoring centers around the world.
Right.
Some of them are morphing into the use of video. Some new monitoring center companies are coming into business purely to focus on video.
Right.
The ones that are purely focused on video are moving rapidly into the AI world to solve for the problems.
Right.
Some of them are selling direct to the consumer, commercial consumer.
Right.
And
others
some
like
of them are going through a channel.
Yeah, right.
But they're moving quickly. The older intrusion and fire monitoring centers of the type I used to run back in the 90s, literally, are a little bit more risk adverse.
Okay.
And getting involved with the configurations of a video system creates a little bit of a liability that they generally and rightfully don't want to be held accountable for.
Right, that makes sense. So where does Actuate sit in this ecosystem? Is it just a a software or?
Actuate is a tech stack.
Okay.
And because it's built in a containerized environment, can be best operated in the cloud.
Okay.
But it could operate on a GPU on an appliance or on an ARM processor on a camera.
Okay.
It really is about what the architecture needs to be for the project.
Okay.
More than anything else.
So what's the go-to-market? Do you go direct to the end user SOCs, or how do you do it?
No, we go direct to the monitoring centers.
Okay.
That matter.
Okay. So third-party monitoring centers, like the Rapids and people of that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of that ilk?
Of that ilk.
Yes.
That's right. And the big guarding companies that operate their own monitoring centers.
Okay.
Anyone that does professional commercial monitoring is our persona profile.
Okay. So who's your competitor? Like Bold or like I don't. Do you? Yeah.
So no, absolutely not.
Okay.
If I were to open my computer, the slide that I have up right now shows that we integrate with 17 different VMS products.
Okay.
8 different video monitoring software platforms.
Okay.
And so Bold is one of those monitoring software platforms. They're our partner.
Oh, okay.
The monitoring center can't use our product without their product.
I see.
So we're the tech stack that plugs into the back of all those monitoring center software.
Okay. Interesting. So what's the next steps for you guys?
We probably have about a 10% share of all the video monitoring centers in the world right now.
Okay.
And getting that up to 20-30%, I think, ensures that Actuate is one of the AI companies that survives. Because the next 5 years is going to be tumultuous. And,
right.
I think about 10 or 15% of the existing companies are going to look 5 years from now like they look now, but bigger. They'll survive.
Right.
Others will get gobbled up or fire sold or whatever the case may be.
Right.
We will do well because we have a large customer base already.
Okay.
Of people doing small event transactions, and as they just keep adding $7 subscriptions all day long, it creates 30 to 50 to 70% growth.
Okay.
So as you add more monitoring centers, you can pretty much double everything.
All right. So you're attacking a pretty narrow market, right? There's not that many monitoring providers out there.
Right.
So are you trying to hit, really get on one, or are there any that you're really targeting, like the top 3 monitoring companies or something to that effect? Just anyone who will take you, kind of deal.
So anybody that needs us,
yes,
is who would call us, but we're probably talking to all of them.
Yeah. Okay.
And I can tell you about the 65 that we already have an agreement with and that we're billing.
Okay.
But there's 31 that are in the pipeline.
Okay.
That may have been using something before, or may not have been using anything.
Right.
They just weren't ready to.
Well, that was the next question I had: is how are they pivoting towards the software kind of approach to this model, basically?
The honest truth is, a lot of the old school companies are slow in adopting.
Right.
Literally on my way here, I was walking down the hall and somebody yelled my name, and I looked over and it was the Rapid Response Management team.
Okay.
And companies like Rapid and Affiliated and some of the others, they like it when the video that's coming into their center already has reduced activity.
Okay.
Right. So VMS company, work with AI company.
Yes.
Send us less.
Yes.
Right?
Indeed.
So that's the old-fashioned way of looking things. Is I'm the monitoring center, Mr. VMS integrator, or Mr. Integrator. Just send me less traffic.
Right. That makes sense. I actually wrote an article about VMS, the same kind of format, where talking about an SOC. The expert said basically you could have a black screen for all monitoring personnel, and only when something happens that's of importance does the screen turn on. Right. Would that be the ideal circumstance?
Absolutely. Yeah. That is the best analogy.
Yeah. So awesome. All right. So we can learn more about Actuate at what? Actuate.ai, is it?
Actuate.ai.
I got it right.
Yeah, you did. You're awesome. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us for this special episode of SecurityDNA. To access our podcast lineup, go to podbean.com and search for SecurityDNA. You can also find our podcasts on our Security Frontline, Integrator Newswire, and Security Week e-newsletters, as well as our new YouTube channel. From Paul, Ken, and everyone at Security InfoWatch, thank you for tuning in.